So as we all know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And joining me this morning, I have a mother and daughter duo, Ashma Khanani-mossa and Fatima Khanani-mossa. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing? How was your weekend?
It was, it's been really busy. I think I'm turning pink already.
Love that.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm overwhelmed with the October awareness stuff, so it's a good sign.
That's good. That's good. So, Ashma, this is the first time I'm meeting you in person, and it is so great to have you here. The last time we spoke was, through Zoom. So
yeah.
we had a Zoom call, but I'd like you. We have a lot of new listeners as well, so I'd like you to, share your journey with us and your story with us.
Sure. Yes. Well, my journey started about 11 years ago when I was surprised with breast cancer. It was a difficult journey. When I first found out, the first thing that went through my mind was nothing else but my children. And Fatima was about 13 years old at that time, and my son was about 7. So all I could think of is breast cancer, the word cancer, and am I going to get through it? So my husband and I spoke about it together. We sat down and we thought, how are we going to tell our children? And we wanted to make sure that we will not tell them something that then later on they're not prepared for if the outcomes are, whichever way they go. So we did tell them that, mommy has cancer and she has a lump in her breast and she needs to be treated. We just told them enough at that age what they can understand. And we also mentioned to them that, we will, I'll be treated and we're going to get through this together as a family. And, we have to now be even more closer. And I also told my husband, I said, the reason why I want to tell them the truth is one of the things that we have to teach our children is the way of life, your faith. What does it teach you? You're here for a little while, and then one day we'll be gone. And in order to prepare your children for that time, if they have never experienced death or sickness or illness, they have a very hard time accepting something like this because they get scared. And they will probably feel that scarring for the rest of their life. So to present this in an honest manner and teaching them that, life is such that, yes, we're here, we need to make the most of it, but we also live to die. And so there's a beauty behind that too. So I wanted to share that with them. And as time went on, I got my biopsy. I underwent a bilateral mastectomy. That was a very difficult journey. And I thought, okay, then I'm done, right? I don't need anything else. My treatment was finished. Unfortunately, my cancer was a little bit more invasive. So they told me that, I will need chemotherapy. And my case was presented at MD Anderson with 10 physicians, oncologists, researchers. The kind of cancer that I had it's called a HER2 positive cancer. And it is a very aggressive cancer if it comes back. So the doctor there at MD Anderson, he sat me down and he said, I presented your case, and we had 10 physicians, and 8 of the physicians had said, she doesn't need any chemo. She'll be fine because there's no breast tissue there. But he said, I do research in this particular cell kind. And he said, if it was my, relative or wife or whatever, he said, I would tell them to take the chemo to bring your odds even lower. Mm-hmm. So I had to take chemo for 1 year. And the good thing about that was that the kind of cancer that I had, that they were treating, there was a drug that has come out, and it's been there for a while, and they have a lot of research behind it that goes after that particular protein cell type. So again, that was another blessing, and I went ahead and agreed to taking the chemo. Chemo was very difficult. You know, they would usually give me chemo. I had timed it around their schedule. So on Wednesday, I would go in for my chemo, and then by Friday, I would start, you know, kind of getting a little bit more sick and tired, so I would just basically sleep. And I would actually have a alarm clock at 2 o'clock or 2:30 when the kids got off the bus, because I wanted to get into the shower, get dressed, and meet them at the door. So again, you know, I wanted them to know that Mommy can get through this, and we're going to get through this together. And as tired as I was after they came home, they had homework, my husband was at work, and being that I, you know, run his practice, I couldn't be there, so he would come home late. So I would ask them, you know, they both were taking piano lessons. So I would lay on the couch and they would play the piano, and I would listen with my cup of tea. Or my son, you know, he loved to read. So I would take him into my bed and he would just read, and just me sleeping and listening to him was so healing, because your children are the ones that actually get you through these struggles. And, you know, he was the one that actually kind of calmed me down. And Fatima was always the calm person, my sweetheart. She always loved to do henna as a child.
Right.
You know, and so she started doing some henna, and as she was growing up, and as time went on, I always taught my kids to first give back to humanity, because you're going to receive from this universe.
Right.
But first you got to learn to give. So their first job was volunteering at MD Anderson with me. So over there they found out that she does henna, and so she started doing henna on cancer patients, and she did the crown on the women that lost their hair.
Right.
And it just was such a enlightening thing for cancer patients to feel that they can embrace this journey and not feel so empty, just to have that henna on their head or on their hands or wherever they wanted, or scars, wherever. So that's what she started doing. And so, you know, it's been a long journey, but I feel like it was short now, because it's 11 years. And some of the things I still feel like at that moment I didn't think I would be able to get through it. But I did. And I put my complete faith in my Creator. And I can't say enough that you need a spouse that really has to be a rock next to you, that you can just kneel on and lean on, and just he would love on me, and he would listen to me, and he would take care of me. And that's very important in a relationship when you're going through something like this, to support each other, because that support is what's going to get you through your journey, and then be in a positive mindset to move forward.
So your family has really been your strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My immediate family, my friends, I can't tell you, my nurse practitioners that work with us, they would tell my husband, you stay at the practice, we will pick her up from the chemo, and they would, you know, drive me. My staff that has been with us for 28 years, they grew up in the clinic, so they would actually bring their lunches or bring them home sometimes. And so whatever you put into your life, you will receive in a very positive manner. And I always try to be positive, no matter how many struggles or things that you may go through. Don't give up. Don't ever give up hope. Don't give up on yourself, because there's a reason why you're going through this. Because I truly feel when you go through a struggle, this is a message to find your purpose.
Yes.
And that's what I have found in my life, is my purpose. And so now I do a lot of outreach in community. I serve on the board of my my faith place where the mosque that I go to, Clear Lake Islamic Center. I'm one of their board members. I do a first time bringing a mammogram mobile to a mosque. Nobody had heard of that, and I was very, very fortunate that I have that platform in my community because of our leader. And he has given me a voice as a woman, as a Muslim woman. And it was amazing how many women hadn't had their mammograms. And so we did actually mammograms at the mosque. And some of the women did not have insurance. Some of them did. And that's why I serve on the board of the Rose,
Right.
which is a nonprofit organization that has been around for 35 plus years, started by 2 women. So if you have insurance, and you and I both know how much we pay for insurance.
Yes.
Give back, because every 3 women that go to the Rose will pay for that one woman that cannot afford a mammogram.
Mammograms.
A woman that's maybe single mother, and that $250 she has to buy the groceries for her. But even though she'll push back that mammogram, those are the kind of women we see at the Rose, and we take care of them. We facilitate their mammogram. If it comes back positive, if there's an issue for treatments, whatever she needs thereafter, they facilitate that whole entire care of finding a physician, a hospital where she's going to need to go and take care of that. So I can't think of a better ministry than the Rose. How much it serves the community. They have mobiles that go out into the community, and they go to the small pockets of Texas where there's no hospitals close by or facilities that they can go and get their mammograms done. So again, if anything you can take back from today's talk is make yourself a priority as a woman.
Right.
It's a very, very important. Do not delay that mammogram. Just because you had one last year doesn't mean you shouldn't have, if you need one, the following year. Make sure you get that mammogram on time, because preventative care is the key to taking care of things early and taking care of your health early, taking care of the situation early so it can be managed better. And there's a lot of ways and a lot of, once you're diagnosed, say, as a woman, you have many choices in
Right.
breast cancer. Yes, a lot of women die from it. It's the second, killer of, in women. But if you know that you can get to that doctor or that appointment, please don't delay it, because it can be prevented. And there's a lot of people that survive through this, and I'm one of them. So, never feel that you're alone, because most of the time women feel like, we're the warriors, right? We can take care of this. Yeah, I had to put on that hat. I did have to put on that hat and get through that. But also, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay if you're feeling something inside of you that, like something doesn't feel right. I'm here. And there's many women like me.
Yes.
And one of my biggest thing is, if I'm empowered by this, it is my job, it's my duty to empower other women. And that is what my purpose is, to empower other women and making sure that their health is number one.
Yes.
Because you ladies are the pillars of your homes. So, I hope that message gets out to your audience today.
Yes, definitely. Ashma, like, we always talk about self-care, but when we talk about self-care, we don't really. Self-care, usually we say, okay, we'll just take a time for ourselves, but not really physically, or like mammograms. Mm-hmm. And even the word breast becomes such an word that we try to avoid. especially in our community, it is
Yes.
still a stigma.
It is.
To talk about it. And when someone is affected by breast cancer, we find it so difficult to talk to our family members.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So I think it is important for this, and it's not only during the month of October, but it should be
All the time.
all the time. All the time
Yes.
to talk about it, to bring it up, to do, like you said, do your
Yes,
mammograms.
Exactly. If the mother does not take care of herself, and when she's faced with something like this, it really affects the whole entire family. And you have to sometimes say, no, I need time for myself.
Yes.
And I know it's very difficult, especially right now with the pandemic that we're going through. A lot of people are stuck at home. They are not being able to do the things that they wanted to. There's frustration for moms because the kids are home. They're homeschooled. That's a very big burden that we're all carrying. So, there's a lot of social media type, shows like meditation, support groups, which I also do that while since I was in the pandemic, I wanted to reach out to my women, So I created a support group for them, a meditation, and meditation is extremely important to have that in your lifestyle because it really calms your mind and it feeds your mind, because how many times do we forget to breathe, or how many times are we're not in the moment, we're not enjoying the moment, and we're always living in the past, or what are we going to do in the future, and our mind gets cluttered with that.
Yes.
So just finding at the end of the day, just spending maybe 5 or 10 minutes just with yourself, find that nice, clear spot that makes you happy, somewhere that makes you comfortable, safe. Create that space for yourself in your home or in the garden or, wherever it is that makes you, and just focus on your breath and be grateful, because once our breath is gone, we're not here. So just imagine our heart continuously beats. How many times we don't say thank you.
Yes.
Okay? So find that moment, and it really kind of softens your heart. It really makes you feel like, you know what, I can do this. And share that with other women. Don't ever hide things that work for you. Share it with other women. It's very important. So self-care is also extremely important.
Yes. So Fatima. Hi. So Fatima, share with us your experience, your journey when your mom was going through breast cancer. You were really young,
Yes.
little, but you had to probably grow up real fast too.
Yes.
So so just share with our audience.
I was basically around 13 years old whenever she was diagnosed. And to be honest, the word cancer was just a really scary word for me. I didn't really know too much about what it was, or I just knew that it was really scary. And that's
Right.
something that probably people didn't want to have. So obviously it hit me really hard as a 13-year-old, and I just took it and ran with it. I was like, I'm going to grow up. I'm going to take care of everybody. It's going to be fine. So I think it was... To be honest, though, I wouldn't be where I am today without, the experience and the journey that we went through. It did force me to grow up really fast, but I take things now and I deal with them a lot more independent, and I'm able to make executive decisions for myself without the help of my parents, and sometimes they may be annoyed of that sometimes. Like, why didn't you ask me that? But it's a part of growing up. It's not something that I would change in my life. But during that age, no other kid could relate to me. Nobody was going through what I was going through. No child could say that. They sat in hospital for hours waiting for your mother to come out for surgery and things like that. So I tried to put a positive twist on that and use my henna. I love art.
Yes.
And I use it in everything that I do. Even when I was younger, I used to just draw when I was angry. So that's what I did. I was angry, so I would do a lot of henna on, even if it was my brother, on his foot. On his hand.
He was okay with that?
He
had no choice.
He loves it. He loves henna. So I would just find any way to practice, and I even practiced on my mother. When she had a lot of scars on her chest, and I wanted to find a way to cover that up. So I used my henna art to cover her scars, and I thought, this is a good way for me to give back to people who are going through this, because your body goes through such a transformation when you're going through cancer, and people don't realize that sometimes it's not even the cancer that really hurts you, but it's the after effects of what your body looks like after that really hurts you. So it's like, you want to go back to looking like you were before. So I wanted to help people feel that way, like they did before their journey. So with henna, losing your hair, rather than thinking, it's not a beautiful thing, or, you're not pretty without hair, it's putting henna on your hair. It's like it's a more positive. People felt proud to wear that on their head and walk around without, a wig on or a scarf, wanting to cover it up or anything like that. So I carry that in my work today. That's why I became a licensed esthetician. Because I wanted to find a way to somehow tie this into my profession, helping people heal and helping them feel good about themselves. And because when you do take care of yourself, you will naturally heal yourself, I do believe. Like when you're going through cancer, and you have a positive outlook on life, that's going to help you heal faster and feel better about yourself.
Right.
So I wanted to, with becoming a licensed esthetician, they have to take that 30 minutes, that hour for themselves to heal themselves and meditate. It's a form of meditation, I think, when they're getting a facial or a treatment. Mm-hmm. So they're just sitting there, relaxing, meditating. I have diffuser oils. It's just a very calm and
yes.
Thank you very much. It's a very calm feeling, and for people to take that time for themselves. Excuse me, sorry. So, but like I said, this whole journey, I've taken it, and I really wanted to be positive about it. I used to be really negative about it, but everything happens for a reason, right?
Yep, it happens to the strong.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
So let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we will continue our conversation with Ashma Khanani-mossa and Fatima. This is Chai Time on 99.5 FM.
For now.
You're listening to the Chai Time Show on 99.5 FM.
Welcome back to Chai Time on 99.5 FM. We are in conversation with Ashma Khanani-mossa and Fatima Khanani-mossa. Sorry, Fatima, we had to get interrupted a bit, so let me just let you continue.
Okay. I don't really remember where I was, but just to kind of carry on just throughout... During her chemo treatment, I think that was probably the hardest time of the whole journey and everything like that. Seeing my mom the way she was, a certain way, and then seeing her change into a completely different person, which she was still the same person, she just looked different. So that was very hard for me.
I think it was hard for you to see me after surgery.
Yes.
That was very
definitely
difficult.
That was very difficult because you were very groggy, disoriented, and you just wanted to leave. So that was definitely hard to see.
And, during commercial break, we were talking about how important it is for young ladies like you to talk about it, to come out, share your emotional challenges as well. Right. Because it's not only the person who is going through cancer, but it's also the entire family as well.
Absolutely. Everyone gets affected in some way. I know that I had always wanted to become a physician from a very young age. So I was very interested. I wanted to know everything through my mom's process. Even though I was kind of young, I didn't really know terminology or anything. When she came back home from surgery, she had drains on her and everything. And I was like, I want to empty them. I want to see, you have to empty the drain, you have to measure it, keep track of the measurements. And I was like, it was definitely really hard to see. But I was like, this will kind of help me feel like I'm helping in some way. Sorry.
you took the initiative from your dad and told him, you're not doing this right. Do you remember that? With the scars.
You're teaching your dad.
She's very meticulous in her work. And so I had, I had a lot of scars, and I had some open wounds, and so my husband is a wound care specialist as well. So he was trying to apply all these, different things, and she's just watching him. She's only 13 years old, She said, "Dad, you're not doing this right. Let me do it." So
I was very clean with my application, and he just dabs it on there. I don't know. We're just not the same like that. But I did feel like I was helping in some way, just because I felt useless. I felt helpless. There's nothing I can do. That was really hard. But being able to talk about it with my family was really, really important too. And my friends, I had my best friend at the time, her mother was going through a similar situation. So it was really good for us to be able to have each other as a support system and not be afraid to share or need support whenever we needed each other. If my mom was having surgery or her mom was sick and she needed help, or we needed to go to each other's houses or anything like that. My friends were really there, but being able to go through something like that and not let it affect you to the point where you let it affect your daily activities, and don't let it make, people can take this journey and have a really negative outlook on life. And like I had said before, I did do that for a little bit.
You're right.
You have I'm sorry. You have a weird relationship with your creator.
Right. And I guess it's always anger first. You get that anger out of your system. And then once that anger is out, then I think your mind it clears up. You have a better understanding.
Absolutely.
And, I love the fact that you're able to talk about it and encourage young girls to come out and, share and communicate, because that is so important. Like we said earlier, we were talking earlier during the break, how it's not, it's always us women who think if we bottle everything inside, that's our strength. Mm-hmm. And if we let go of everything, we are weak. That's we break down. But it's totally the opposite, because once all those emotions come out, that is when, when we get a clearer picture and we're able to handle things in a better way, in a positive way.
Absolutely.
So I love the fact that, you are able to talk about it. You're able to share with so many of our listeners today and inspire so many out there, all the young women and, even the little kids, the teenagers out there. So that's wonderful.
Not being afraid to talk about it. And if you do need help or need to talk about it, or at least not be afraid to ask for help either. People think, I feel like sometimes as women, we feel if we overshare, it's like pity me kind of thing. It's
yes.
Feel bad for me, and this is what I'm going through. But really, that's just healing. That's just how you heal. That you talk about it, you feel your emotions, and you are able to get through. But you really do have to have the right support system and the right people to listen to, because people can listen and they may not be too helpful or know how to assist you in a situation like that. So it's okay to ask for help from a professional or somebody who knows how to help you in a situation like that. There's always, I feel like, taboo, about that. And like you were saying, in our community especially too, talking amongst it, amongst us about it, it's like, what is she going through? Oh, that's what, it's like they talk about what's happening within families amongst themselves, but they don't even talk to the actual family. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't be afraid to even reach out if you see someone struggling, or if you see that you may know somebody's going through something, but you just talk about it, and rather than approaching and saying, hey, do you actually need some help? People don't ask how you are or how somebody's doing enough. They are so preoccupied with themselves and their lives and their jobs, and I get that, but you have to take time and give back to other people, because that's what's going to return to you in the end.
Yes, and we should consider ourselves very fortunate.
Yes.
Right?
Very, very fortunate. Especially living in a place like where we're living in the U.S., the third world countries that don't even have access to some of this care. And if we're not utilizing it, then, we're really missing the point of utilizing the system as far as your healthcare is concerned. If you're able to do it, use it, and use it in the right way, it's there for you. There's a reason for it, and to prevent it. Prevention is the key to survivorship. And so, knowing that Fatima, she just turned 25, so I'm wanting her to maybe get an early ultrasound done, just so that it's a baseline type of a test that we can just do and keep a surveillance. I know women that have genetic, through their families, and I know a very close friend of mine that her whole entire family, as far as the mother and the aunts, they've all had breast cancer, and she was a single mother, and she also had some lumps. And she was always worried because here she is raising a child, trying to run a practice. And being a single mother, she was worried. She said, what if this turns into a cancer? What am I going to do? And so she came and talked to me, and she was very fearful of this procedure, but she had to prophylactically have a mastectomy. And yes, emotionally that was very, very difficult, but now she knows she's in a good place because she doesn't have to worry about that, knowing it's in her genetic, background. So try to understand your health, research, ask the right people, and like Fatima said, there are professionals that can give you the right answers. Just don't go to anybody that you're not sure of, and get the right answers for your health. Get a second opinion if you have to.
Right.
Don't feel that you're going to hurt that doctor or that, whoever you're speaking to. If you don't find that peace within you, it's your body, it's your choice. You have the ability to go get a second opinion. And that's very, very important.
Right. I want to touch a little bit on hats and henna high tea, right?
Yes.
So last year, I believe it was your first event that you all did.
No, actually, so going back to how hats and henna actually was born.
Okay.
So I actually have a passion for tea because I lived in England, and we used to go for tea time all the time. So as a child, I always loved that. And so when I came here, I did have my own tea room, actually, and I ran that for a long time. And then I was having some difficult time having my children. Fatima was a high-risk pregnancy, so my husband said we have to close the door down. So the tea time is very important around our house. There's a ritual that goes behind it, and we all sit down and that type of thing. So when I finished my chemo, I thought to myself, how can I give back to my friends and family and the survivors that I've met along the way? For the first year, it was my first year of survivorship, and I wanted to sort of celebrate life. And I thought, I want to give them something that they can always remember. So I have, of course, a ton of tea sets. So I took all those out, laid them out, my husband made, he's the baker. So he baked, all the scones, and we had the clotted cream and the whole 9 yards. And we made it so pretty. And I had my friends over and my family, and just to thank them, to say thank you for being there and standing by me. And so every year that became kind of a tradition. So when I started serving on the board of the Rose, I told the CEO of the Rose, Dorothy Gibbons, who's a dear and close friend now, and I told her, I said, I want to turn, my tea party's coming, and I want to make it an event for the Rose to raise money. And she says, okay. I said, okay, so maybe I won't have it at my house because I won't be able to fit that many people, but we went to a local tea room, and in that tea room we could only fit 50 people. So I had the tea party there, and it was a benefit. There were so many people that actually gave stuff for auctioning, and it was such a fun and just a really fun day for everybody. And there were a lot of friends that couldn't come because there was no room in the tea room. I raised $5K at that tea party, and I gave that to the Rose. So the Rose came back and said, well, do you want to do this again next year? We can make this a signature event. And we came up with the name Hats and Henna High Tea because Fatima does the henna, and I love the tea part, and so it became kind of a signature event for the Rose. It's on their event page every year. So the next year we had to move the venue because we could not fit.
Right.
So we went to the Grand Duca, it's a beautiful place. If you have never had tea over there, you need to go have some tea over there. So we had it there, and we could only fit 90 people there. That was the max. It was sold out again.
Wow.
And I was able to raise $10,000. The third year, we went back to the Grand Duca. I was able to raise $20K. Then it was becoming really tight. So last year, we went to the Junior League, which is a beautiful space, and we had the tea party there. And I raised a little bit over $47,000 for the Rose. And that is 100% that goes to the women that need help with their mammograms. So this is how the tea party was born. Now this year we're challenged.
Yes.
We can't have the foo-foo tea party. We can't have a social gathering. And I thought, okay, so this is good. So fortunately, the Rose has an amazing team that I work with. And they said, you know what, we can try to make this a virtual tea party. And every year there's a theme. The first year was how did my husband as a caregiver handle his journey with me. The following year, I had Fatima as a 14-year-old going through. So it brought those subjects out. It's not just having tea. It's a fundraiser. It's a fun time to get together for mothers and daughters and families. It is open to men as well. And it's a celebration of life. And then there's survivors there. I always recognize them. We've had a beautiful fashion show, which everybody loved. It was a pink fashion show. This year we're having our tea party virtually, which is going to be on Sunday the 25th at 2 p.m. You can go on Facebook and Google or put in the browser Hats and Henna High Tea, and you can register for that.
Okay.
And we will have it on Zoom, and hopefully you can join me. And we are going to create that similar effect at the Junior League. And of course, my dear friend Pitsy, she does all the beautiful decorations for tea. So she's going to decorate only one table this time. So she'll be there, and it's going to be really special because whoever is involved in this, it's just not me.
Right.
I've created this whole thing so I can give other women opportunities. So this year we're having Shaila Rana. She's a designer, and she made some beautiful masks, and she's going to give that away as far as, like people can auction, and she'll be showing off her designs. And I'll be speaking to a dear friend that I met at MD Anderson. He is actually a breast cancer survivor. Okay. So this year I wanted to bring out the awareness of male breast cancer and how that affects men. And yes, men do get breast cancer. A lot of people don't know that. And when they do, it is a very, very aggressive type of cancer. So Ronnie Pace, who's somebody I met at MD Anderson, we worked together, and now he serves on the board of the Rose. He will be there with me, and I'll be interviewing, and we'll have a conversation just like this. So hopefully that will bring more awareness for men. And we're just going to have fun. Just, put on your pearls and put on your hats. And don't forget that tea and some scones or whatever you want to, spoil yourself on a Sunday afternoon. I would love to have you with us.
That would be great. Yeah, and we'll share the information on our Chai Time page as well for our lilisteners as well.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and the whole idea is to, a mammogram costs $250. So if you can sponsor one woman, that is going to be huge for that woman that has nothing to spend on a mammogram when she has to take care of her kids. So there's a lot of generous supporters that support me, big hospitals that now support me in this, Tea Party. And it's really 100% to give back to the community and to the Rose. And I'm so proud to be part of the Rose because it has given me such a great purpose and a platform.
Right. And if anyone does want to support the Rose, they could just visit the website?
Yeah. So if you go on Hats and Hannah High Tea, there is a link that you register. So you would automatically get a Zoom link once you register. Okay. And there are options you can donate, whichever level you would like to. If you're a business and you want to donate a larger amount, we'll be happy to promote your business on there. Also, you don't have to donate. If you can't, I would just love for you to just be part of this program, because whatever you hear at this program, you're going to take back to the community, and that is, again, a give back to the community. And if you need a mammogram and you have insurance, please choose the Rose. They have 2 locations. There's one in the Southeast area and one in the Galleria area. You can make your appointments at therose.org.
Okay, perfect. Fatima, is there anything you would like to share with our audience? A message? Convey a message?
I mean, nothing too much. Just, to remember to get your mammograms and to always support each other, men and women going through anything. And like we talked about before, don't be afraid to reach out for help or just to talk about it to anybody, and even me. If
Lynn has our information, so if you're struggling and you need to talk to somebody, I am an integrative health and wellness coach as well, so I do have clients that come to me and talk to me. I have people call me from different states to give them some guidance so they can, make the right choices, or maybe they want to hear something that they're a little bit foggy about their treatments. I just guide them, and then it's up to them to find, so that support is available also on the phone. If you have a daughter that's going through a rough time, Fatima is always available.
Or if you just want to take time for yourself and relax with the facial, and you're in the Webster area.
We have to talk about med spa a bit, yes. I was getting to that. I'm like, come on, girl, you got to say something.
Science Behind Beauty, right?
Yeah, visit Science Behind Beauty on Instagram.
Right. So tell us a little bit about Med Spa.
So the Med Spa, it's really geared toward personalizing skincare for each individual person. Like I was saying earlier, you can go on a menu, you can pick a service, but if it's really going to benefit your skin or not is the question. So I like to really hear people's concerns and what they want to correct on their face or what's bothering them, so we can come up with the treatment plan together. I even love helping people with their regimens if they don't know if they're applying their products right, wrong. I help them with that. We do Botox at the Med Spa. We do fillers, and everything is supervised by Dr. Moosa, and he's always there at all the visits for any type of injectables. But, if you just want to take that extra, hour for yourself just to relax, come take time. I'll take care of your skin needs, but it's just a good getaway from the real world.
That's so tempting. Yes. We girls have to.
I was like amazed by her eyebrows because I've met you for the first time too. So that's the first thing I asked.
She actually inherited those.
Oh yes.
And I lost mine after my chemo, so she's continuing.
Yeah, that's amazing, right?
the brow.
But so how did you like decide to become an aesthetician? I can't say.
No one can understand that. Like I was saying before, like I always loved henna, and I wanted something to kind of integrate my work in a more professional setting.
Right.
So I don't even know how I stumbled across becoming a licensed esthetician. I was just Googling something, and I went to school at the Aveda Institute, and the Aveda Institute, they're very botanical based, so all natural, but I love like their whole concept and their anatomy of the face. Okay. So my love for science and then my love for aesthetics kind of came into both.
You combine both.
That's how I started. Yeah. But I do eyebrows too. I can do waxing, threading,
everything.
Anything.
We'll have to book
we have to make a trip because
Right?
There you go.
And there's 6 of us.
yeah, we'll have to do a day trip or something.
Yeah, there you go. We can just do you girls.
Yeah.
She does henna parties too.
Oh, awesome.
She gets
Oh,
called
wow,
for young girls.
For
Oh,
birthdays,
that'd be
weddings,
cute.
anything. If you go to sylvanbeachmedspa.com,
Yeah.
it has all my services and everything.
Oh, I wish Sasha was here.
Yeah,
She'd be so
yeah.
excited
Yeah,
for her little girls. And we were joking around and saying, I was telling you earlier, I said, your mom's so lucky she always gets a facial, right? Probably.
If I ever sit down.
I mean, do you see this?
She's so proud of you. I can just tell. Like, look at, like, she's glowing with the pride.
I am proud of her. And, that's something also you should always, the only thing you can give your children not enough of is love.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
smother them with love. Everything else they're going to get. But just give them love and making sure that they follow their dream.
Yeah.
She actually wanted to be a physician and she was determined to becoming a plastic surgeon.
Oh.
But when her dad told her that you will not be able to do that, what is your second plan?
Yeah.
And she told him why. He goes, well, if you don't get a residency in plastic surgery, you got to think of a second. And she said, then I don't want to do this. So she finished. She has a degree in biology and public health. So she went to school for that. She graduated with all that, and now she's an esthetician. So she thought that the aesthetics will give her both because, again, she likes that perfection. As far as for example, there was a young man that came to her spa. And the mother brought him, and they were Asians, Desi, and so he was getting so bullied at school because he had a unibrow.
Oh.
So when she felt comfortable with Fatima, so she brought her son over and she said, can you do anything for him? And she says, yeah, I can wax his unibrow. And so when she waxed the unibrow, she asked the young man, showed him his, how do you like it? She goes, this is the first time I've seen 2 of my eyebrows.
Oh, wow.
And he was crying.
And he was crying. So again, she felt so good that, she was able to change someone's outlook and life maybe, and bullying for your facial or scars, it's such a common thing. So that's why she does what she does.
But that's amazing, and I think that's such a great learning point for parents, because your husband